6:40. Let's rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We will have the roll call.
Councilor Olson.
Here.
Bridge. Bender. Mertzik. Anderson. Hendry. Finsland. Herrick. McKenzie. Dahlbeck. Nowicki. And Emmert. And Sather is excused.
We don't have any proclamations or commendations. We'll look for the approval of the minutes. Motion by Councilor Dahlbeck, seconded by Mr. Herrick. Any discussion on the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Minutes are approved.
Item 5 is the public hearings. 5.1 is a public hearing to approve the Community Development Block Grant 2010 Action Plan.
This public hearing is now open. Anyone who would like to speak for or against item 5.1 can do so now. For a second time, anyone who would like to speak for or against item 5.1 can do so now. And for a third and final time, anyone who would like to speak for or against item 5.1 can do so now. Seeing no comment, this hearing is now closed.
A resolution to approve the Community Development Block Grant 2010 Action Plan.
Motion by Mr. Bender, second by Mr. Herrick. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed say no. 5.1 passes.
5.2 is a public hearing to amend Chapter 122, the zoning and the zoning map, to rezone a vacant lot located at 6020 Tower from one-family residential to highway commercial.
Yeah, we need a public hearing, yeah. This public hearing is now open for 5.2. Anyone who would like to speak for or against item 5.2 can do so now. For a second time, anyone who would like to speak for or against item 5.2 can do so now. For a third and final time, anyone who would like to speak for or against item 5.2 can do so now. Seeing no comments, this public hearing is now closed. I'll take Mr. Bridges' motion, and the second is Mr. McKenzie. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed say no. 5.2 passes.
Item 6 is a consent agenda. Councilor Bender is requesting item 6.13.3 be separated for discussion.
Move to approve the consent agenda with the exception.
Okay. There's a second by Mr. Hendry. All in favor of the consent agenda except for 6.13 item 3. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Consent agenda passes. We will now entertain item 6.133 to approve a one-time 4.5 wage adjustment for the Human Resources Administrator.
Make a motion to receive and file.
Motion by Councilor Finsland, second by Councilor Hendry to receive and file. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Item 6.13-3 is received and filed.
Item 7 is business by department head. 7.1 is the GIS data sharing agreement with Superior Water, Light, and Power.
Motion by Councilor Dahlbeck, second by Mr. Bender. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed say no. 7.1 is passed.
7.2 is the 2010 health insurance budget.
Motion by Councilor Dahlbeck, second by Mr. Bridge. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Anderson. Mr. Emmert's head was in the way of your mic, so we'll apologize, Mr. Emmert. Mr. Anderson.
I'm not complaining about the budget because I know there's really not much that we could have done differently. And I think Jean has done a good job with her committee in putting this together. What I am concerned about and basically complain about is the cost of medical costs in not just our area but this country in general. We're paying way too much for health insurance, and it's driving us all into bankruptcy. And I hope that something is done about that very soon before we're all broke.
Thank you, Counselor Anderson. I will make one comment, and I know Counselor Anderson's fully aware. We do have a healthcare committee, which is a labor management committee that has been working very, very hard on trying to drive down the costs for the city of Superior. Steve Panger and Gene Vito, who have co-chaired, I believe, yes, that healthcare committee. I have watched two people in the last year really put in work and have spent the hours and are very dedicated to getting these costs down so we all can live with them. So we do thank Mr. Panger and Finance Director Gene Vito for their leadership on this area. But thank you, Mr. Anderson. Appreciate your comments. Seeing no more comments, all in favor say aye. Opposed say no. 7.2 passes.
7.3 is the 2010 golf course budget.
Motion by Mr. McKenzie, seconded by Esther Dahlbeck. No?
That's
Okay.
That's right.
Seeing no discussion, all in favor say aye. Opposed say no. 7.3 passes.
7.4 is a recommendation to award the bid to purchase city-owned property adjacent to 3010 East 8th Street to Dave Evans in the amount of $2,000.
Motion by Mr. Bridge, seconded by Mr. Bender. Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed say no. 7.4 passes.
7.5 is the Urban Forestry Tree Board recommending a revised street tree list.
Motion by Councilor Dahlbeck, seconded by Mr. Herrick. Any discussion? Did you read all those Greek names on the trees? I hope you memorized all of them. I did. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed say no. 7.5 passes.
Item 8 is business by the mayor. 8.1, the mayor is appointing Tula Harris to the library board and Jeffrey Hansen to the assessment board of review.
Motion by Councilor Anderson, seconded by Mr. McKenzie. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed say no. 8.1 passes. After the 8.2 is read, I'm going to make a brief comment. I think Mr. Olson can make a brief comment on the configuration of this committee, and then Mr. Prell is going to clarify how this should be passed. So after this is read.
Okay, 8.2 is the mayor appointing the following to the ambulance task force. Warren Bender is the counselor representative, Steve Panger, the fire department representative, Kay Johnson and Jack Sweeney as Douglas County Board representatives, Gene Vito, the finance director, Dr. Robert Sellers, medical, and Gold Cross employee / resident to yet be determined.
And my just comment is I really appreciated working with Council President Olson. We met for quite an extended period of time and went over this list and came to a mutual agreement over the number and the selection of the committee members. And I'll have Mr. Olson comment if you'd like.
One thing that we did, and I just found out today, the Gold Cross employee, they sent us a name from a person from Duluth, and we don't want that to happen. We're gonna go back and see if Gold Cross can get us a resident as it was supposed to be. And the other thing, and maybe you can help me with this, we originally had this as an 8-member
Correct.
force, and we decided that maybe we should get it down to 7. So this is a fact-finding commission. If there's any voting that comes out of it, we didn't want it to go to a 4-4 tie and be dead in the water with no action. It could have went 9, but the smaller number seemed to be a better choice, Esther. Just the more numbers you get, the more attitudes, input, and then it may. We're still on a 90-day schedule for this, and I guess I'd ask that, seeing as we don't have the final member, that this 90 days was going to start when the committee was selected. So if once we get the committee completely selected, that will start the 90 days from there.
Correct. And we both agreed that that 90 days would be upon their first meeting, and then the clock would start ticking. So, Mr. Prell.
I would just recommend, as the cleanest way to acknowledge or to approve of the modification from an 8-member body to a 7, that a motion to amend the composition or the count of the membership of the Fact-Finding Commission from 8 to 7 would be appropriate. And once that motion were acted on, then I think it makes sense to field a motion and act on the actual appointments that have been articulated in 8.2.
I'll entertain a motion to modify the council's intentions from 8 to 7.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Esther Dahlbeck, Councilor Olson, second. There you go. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed say no. We now have before you the approval of the 7-point committee as item 8.2. Motion by Mr. Finsland. Seconded. We have a motion and we need a second. We don't have a motion until we get a second, so.
Okay, I would like to make a motion to approve these names individually.
Okay, if you can, it's a motion from the floor, precedes, we do not have a motion for discussion yet. Do we need to act as a first and a second before we can discuss any modification?
Well, there's not, I haven't heard a second to any motion yet.
Right. So we
any
have-
motion, I think, would be appropriate. It sounds like Councilor Mertzig would be making a motion to divide the matter into 6.
I have no objection to approve them individually. I'll withdraw my motion and let Mr. Mertzig's motion
Okay.
stand.
Very good. Motion by Mr. Mertzig to approve each name individually. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Bridge. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. And with my hearing, that motion passed. We will appoint each member, or we will bring each member before you for a vote.
Okay, the first member of the ambulance task force would be Warren Bender as the city councilor representative.
Okay, motion by Mr. Finsland, second by Mr. McKenzie. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Mr. Bender is approved.
Steve Panger as the fire department representative.
Motion by Mr. Finsland, second by Mr. Anderson. Any discussion? Seeing none. All in favor say aye. Excuse me, I didn't see, your light is not on. Yes, thank you.
I was hoping to see that either the fire chief or the union representative would be in here somewhere. And also, it looks like there's 2 county board individuals, and it seems to me that since this is a city issue, there should be a stronger emphasis on city representation. So I guess I'm getting a bit ahead of myself here with, I know we're doing this individually, but I would like to see maybe to rethink, instead of 2 county board members, we would possibly drop 1 and put in either the fire chief or the Lesage.
Mr. Lesage appointed Mr. Panger for
He
this
did, okay.
position, so you would be circumventing the union president's wishes.
Okay. I don't want to do that, although I would still like to see the fire chief in here. Like I said, it's a strong emphasis on the county and Gold Cross, but nothing, I mean, that's my discussion. That's all I have there.
It just seems to me, I mean, the motion obviously was ratified unanimously to vote up or down each individual member, each of the 6 names that has been appointed or recommended as an appointment for this committee. I think perhaps it's appropriate to recommend to the mayor, who has that appointment authority initially, to submit whatever names you have in mind, but it seems like we're straying away from the business at hand, which is the appointment,
Right.
the specific ratification of Steve Panger as appointment number 2 of the committee.
Any other discussion on Mr. Panger? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Mr. Panger is approved.
Kay Johnson as the Douglas County Board representative.
Okay, Mr. Anderson and Mr. Finsland, thank you. Seeing no discussion, all in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Kay Johnson passes.
Jack Sweeney also as the Douglas County Board representative.
Need a motion and a second? Mr. Finsland, seconded by? Okay, Mr. Hendry. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. I only heard 3. What do we have? Do we have a hands up, all in favor? Motion, okay. Opposed? Okay, ayes have it. Motion to approve Mr. Sweeney passes. Let me just give you the thinking behind Chairman Finn, who I have tremendous respect for. The county is half of our population, or a little less than half, and he felt that they should be represented at least fairly on this committee, and we chose a city and a county supervisor, a rural and a city, and we thought that was the balance that was needed. A lot of thought went into these two choices, and I gave Mr. Finn his choice because I respect his opinion. So, Mr. Finsley.
I'd like to make the point that most of these, almost all of these, are city residents of one form or another. So, I mean, Bob Sellers, our doctor, is a local resident. Gene Vito is a city resident. You know, Jack Sweeney is a city resident. These people are all city residents, so I think they're going to do a fine job for us. I certainly respect their opinions.
Yes, thank you. A lot of people went into the, how we got these names. Mr. Hendry.
Yeah, just one comment that I mentioned this before in a committee that I don't have any problem with these names, but you know, a lot of them are county and then different parts of the administration and, you know, one counselor. I don't have any problem with the names, but I think that I'm hoping that we are appraised, the rest of the council, everybody on the council is appraised of the progress periodically of this committee, and we're going to have the ultimate vote, and we need to be informed.
Yes, you
Yeah,
shall.
that's okay.
Yep, you'll get the minutes of any of these meetings, because this is a duly elected committee, so, yes. Next one.
Gene Vito, the city's finance director.
Motion by Esther, seconded by, I heard several names, Mr. Anderson. Seeing no discussion, all in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Ms. Vito is approved.
Dr. Robert Sellers, the medical representative.
Esther Dahlbeck and I think Mr. McKenzie, I think. No? He lives in your district. He lives in your district. Okay, I'll take Mr. Finsland. Okay. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Dr. Sellers is approved.
How do you want to handle the Gold Cross employee? Would that be?
Do you trust your council president to, once that name is submitted, for him to act on his behalf to, we've set a parameter, and that's why him and I rejected the first name. We need a Superior resident or Douglas County resident who works for Gold Cross, because we wanted to balance this. And Mr. Finsley.
I think that we should accept the opinions of the mayor and the city council president in this regard, and I think I agree that it should be a city resident, or at least a county resident, if we can't find a city resident, but someone who would be concerned with this issue locally.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Finsley. Mr. Olson.
There was actually 8 residents of Douglas County on the Gold Cross, so I don't know why they bothered trying to throw a Duluth resident in. It just didn't make any sense. So when we talked to Jim Stauber, I mean, we overwhelmingly just said, no, this just isn't going to work. So we'll make sure it's a Douglas County and Superior resident if those are available.
Thank you, Mr. Olson. Any other talk? Mr. Anderson.
Well, you know, I don't know that it's all that important that the representative from Gold Cross be a resident here. They're obviously going to be presenting Gold Cross, the company's perspective on all of this, and it has really nothing to do with residency here. There are, if you really want to get right down to it, there are Gold Cross employees or retired Gold Cross employees that do still live here in Superior and wouldn't have any particular allegiance to the company. I guess I find, you know, a representative from Gold Cross on here in the first place is a little bit, you know, it's like putting the fox in the hen house, realistically. And so what difference does it make which fox is in there, whether it's a fox that lives here in Superior or one that's just representing the company? So I think that, I don't think it matters which person from Gold Cross is appointed to the committee, whether they're a resident of the city of Superior or not.
The employees have expressed to me they want some representation if they're going to lose their jobs. And they're only fair to ask that if they're losing their jobs as a result of this process, they want a voice. And I said, I think they should have a voice. And I believe Council President Olson agrees with that.
Well, unfortunately, the way I read this, then, you want to emphasize more Gold Cross employee.
Correct.
As opposed to
No management. We're talking an employee of Gold Cross. We're not talking management. Mr. Olson and I believe we agree we're talking rank and file, not management.
Well, even so, if it's still rank and file, it doesn't really matter whether they live here or not, is my point.
Okay.
They're still representing the same interest group.
It would be up to this council if you'd like to change that. So, Mr. Mertzick.
Well, I agree with you. And originally, when the original proposal said unbiased, a group of unbiased people, and clearly you have a Gold Cross employee in there, there's going to be some bias. Like you said, they're going to be having a voice fighting for their job if, in fact, we find out that Gold Cross can't do the job here in Superior any longer. And also, I think it's not our job to look out for the interests of Gold Cross. It's our job to look out for the interests of the people of Superior. And so I just think it's inappropriate to have a Gold Cross employee. I don't see anything wrong with a Gold Cross employee going before the committee and explaining what they do and how they do it, but to be a member of the committee, it just doesn't add up to me.
Then our union representative representing the fire department who wants this service is not biased. Because I'm trying to follow your standard.
Right. I guess
That's my
I understand what you're saying, meaning that the fire department may have an agenda also. Is that what you're saying?
That would eliminate
But the difference is they're not fighting for their job. They're trying to determine what's best for the city of Superior.
So there's no bias in that.
I would say no. I would say
None whatsoever. No agenda.
I would say their agenda is to do what's best for the city, and the Gold Cross employee, his perspective or his or her perspective is going to be what can I do or say to maintain my employment with Gold Cross. So there's a clear difference there. And again, it's not my responsibility or our responsibility to look out for the interests of the Mayo Clinic and Gold Cross. It's my responsibility, our responsibility to look out for the interests of the people of Superior.
I look out the interests of people who are employed in our community. Mr. Olson.
Before we get into slinging hash across the table, the main reason for this committee was to come up with a fact-finding committee. The unbiased should remain there, the people that we have approved on this committee. I believe that we need to focus, those people need to focus on what their job will be here. And whether it's a Gold Cross employee or a fire department employee, I would hope that this committee keeps in mind that this is a fact-finding committee to see if this is a viable option for the city of Superior to enter into this ambulance program. As far as the Gold Cross employee, I guess I don't have any problem with that due to the fact that if they are providing a service to us right now, they should be able to also provide facts for the reasons they are providing that service. And I believe that was the innocent intent of having somebody from Gold Cross. I particularly knew this wasn't going to be easy because we're not going to make everybody happy. But if we could keep this in mind that it is a fact-finding committee, if the facts warrant that we make a change, we will make a change. If the facts warrant that we don't, we probably won't. So that's all I got on it.
Mr. Hendry.
Yeah, that's another comment. It kind of goes without saying probably, but in looking at the names from Superior and Douglas County and that, it of course pops into my head, and I think it's been discussed previously, what is the city of Duluth going to do? And I'm just, I'm sure that the committee will do this, and I'm sure hoping that they'll do it, and to carry on an ongoing communication with somebody in the city of Duluth to find out what they're going to do on the Gold Cross ambulance issue in regards to Duluth and St. Louis County, because that may very well force our hand. They might, Gold Cross might not want to stay here just, in a small area if they're not doing Duluth and that area.
The Gold Cross has clearly stated that they will stay in Superior even if they lose to Duluth.
Oh, do they?
Yes, they have,
Okay.
yes. I don't know, that's been repeated a number of times. I've corrected it every chance I get.
Oh, well, okay.
Thanks, Chuck. Any more comments? Okay, seeing none, all in favor say aye. I do believe we had a motion maker. Do we?
What's the motion?
I don't know. I don't think we have a motion on that. The discussion was to have
Sorry,
Counselor
Okay.
President
We'll take a
Olson make
motion in a
Well,
motion in a second.
I'd like to make a motion that we slash the resident part on that Gold Cross employee. And I think if it's an employee of Gold Cross representing their employees, no. One of their, representing their employees is what's been told to us, Staubers and management, that they make the decision irrespective of whether it's a resident of the city of Superior or not. I don't think that's germane necessarily to this issue.
Okay, see, we do not have a motion. The motion now will read, because we don't have a motion second on, and we'll read for this line is slashing, it'll be Gold Cross, someone from Gold Cross to be determined. And that's your motion, Mr. Anderson?
My motion is just to eliminate the word resident,
Okay, Gold Cross employee.
meaning that representing Gold Cross employees, but not necessarily a resident
Okay.
of the city of
Do we have a
Superior.
motion? Do we have a second
Well,
first? We've already discussed it.
Before we get into the motion-making machine, I just want to try to understand something, because we have ordinances that speak clearly to how this process is to play out. And the process for appointment of committee members to a special committee is clear. It's appointment by the mayor with ultimate approval by the common council. So with all due respect, I think we're really muddying the works when we start building a description for the player yet to be named in terms of qualifying residency and that sort of thing. Again, I think it's perfectly appropriate for this council in a public venue or even a private venue to articulate its wishes or its suggestions or its recommendations to the mayor for how that appointment is made. Maybe you have names in mind even. But I think it's very awkward at best and contrary to the ordinance at worst to be in the business of coming up with a description of a person that might be pulled from a group of 8 or 10 or 12 people. So obviously the first 5 appointments to the first 6 appointments to the now 7-person entity or fact-finding body have been ratified by you. I think we've all heard your concerns about the makeup or personality or educational background or work background or what have you of person number 7. Why don't you just let your council president and your mayor take that under advisement? They'll come back to you, presumably within 1 meeting from now, which is 2 weeks' time, and that name, I'm guessing, will be before you, much like the first 6 were before you tonight.
In fact, I'll withdraw this selection and I'll disregard all the advice and come back with a name at the next council meeting.
Well, to clean that up, I'll make a motion to table that particular appointment until you have one ready for us.
That's the same thing? Okay. Seeing any discussion, all in favor say aye. Opposed say no. I'll bring name back to you in 2 weeks.
Item 12.1 is business by public. The Superior Amateur Hockey Association is requesting continued support for the Great Lakes Classic Pond Hockey Championship as outlined in the communication.
Motion by Mr. Olson,
Second.
second by Mr. Anderson. Mr. Anderson, do you have a comment? No? I heard about 4 voices on that one.
I just don't know if they're going to have ice this year.
Yeah, tell me. Yeah. The cold is coming. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Move to adjourn. All in favor say aye.